Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Welcome to the show. We always like to start by talking about what it means to be a warrior. And I always give the definition, so if you're new, I will read it right out of Webster's, well, right out of my brain, which is like a fake Webster's, so don't actually look this up. But it says, to be a warrior is to be a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. And I love the variables. I love the idea that there's an or and not necessarily a mandated one way to be a warrior. So if you aren't brave, which I find that, like, a lot of people think they're not brave and that means that they're afraid. And it's like, no. Having courage is to be afraid and moving forward in spite of it. And that's actually bravery as well, but if you're not brave and you are experienced because you've been through a thing or two in life, then you've got one tick box. And then soldier or fighter, well, it doesn't mean that you have to be in the army or be a cage fighter. What that means is if you're not a soldier, which you're not in the army, but you have fought through life, then you are a fighter. So long-windedly, what do we got? We've got an experienced person who's been through some stuff. Well, guess what? You're a warrior. That means you're actually capable of taking on what life throws at you. And at some point in time in your life, the most tough, difficult thing you've had to deal with, you overcame that. You warriored through that. So whatever you're dealing with right now, you have to have the same mentality. Like, how do I warrior my way through something that is currently crushing me or making me feel like I can't get through it? So we always like to start our show off just by creating a little bit of hope, giving you a mustard seed of faith that other people are combating very similar situations and having to overcome right alongside of you. So, Deb, do you have anybody or anything that you've been working with lately that you think would be a good example of this?
I mean, I think just in general with what we do for a living, we always go through sort of like these ebbs and flows where you see the cycle of emotions that people go through throughout the year and the different seasons that they go through. And I mean seasons in terms of time and the holidays and things like that. But I also mean seasons where people have blessing and then they have loss and then they have challenge and then they have, comfort and love and peace and all these different things that happen to them throughout the year. We're getting into this time of year where we can celebrate both. I find that when Thanksgiving, I feel just super grateful and I get to sit down and spend some time with my family and all of the different events that I go to and that I'm invited to. I just feel grateful. I see the people that have supported me and helped me to become the person that I've become, and I truly feel blessed by it. As you go into those seasons, it's easy to celebrate the good, but then it's also easy to be defeated and feel lost by all of the bad. And the reason why I'm so passionate about applying healthy techniques to a holiday season, to all that you have on your plate, for the next 2 months, being November and December, and all that comes at you, is because I have watched people literally sink because of these times. Now, we've done shows where we've done nothing but talk about holidays and talk nothing about how to navigate through the holidays. So I'm not trying to go down that route. But what I am trying to do is say you're either going to make the choice that you're going to see life as potentially not working out for you because it's not easy and you never seem to be able to find the easy road and things always seem to come up, or you can just recognize that it's a fallen world. There will always be defeat. Okay. I'm not trying to claim that for you. I'm just trying to be realistic with you because it is a fallen world. There is sincerely an enemy that is on the prowl, that is ready to attack at any given time. So we don't want to keep seeking this life of ease or what makes me happy or what is going to create this perfect balance and this perfect work-life balance ratio where I get to do all things and everything in my life is just happy, because it's just not real. And I think what John and I are trying to do with this segment and really truly just with this podcast in general is to help you to understand that there really is no easy way. There is no easy way to getting healthy. There is no easy way to being financially stable. There is no easy way to having a successful marriage. There is no easy way to raising your children. There is no easy way, for sure, 100%, to being an entrepreneur and owning your own business. However, God is bigger and greater and capable, and his grace is so incredibly sufficient. His mercy endures. He is so capable of helping us to strengthen and become the warrior that we need to become to handle all of those circumstances. But what often happens is that we get on Instagram and we see someone standing in front of a Lamborghini and we think that that's being an entrepreneur. But really, he's maxed out. If we really figured out this guy's life, he's probably really maxed out. Because to be completely honest with you, I know quite a few millionaires and I know a couple billionaires. And I have for many, many years. And they actually don't pose in front of their Lamborghinis. They just don't. They might have entire like carriage houses full of cars. They don't video them. They don't show it off. It just isn't who they are. They're givers. They don't show. They're very giving people, okay? So when it comes to that topic, you're seeing a false impression and you're trying to compare your life to that and you're feeling disappointed because you're not where they are, when you'll never be where they are, because no one is where they are, because they're not even where they are, because it's a completely false world. So you have to warrior through and say, I am not going to try to compare myself to anybody else in any other arena or any other area. And I'm going to try to truly fulfill the call and purpose that God has for my life. Now, there's an equipping that comes with that. Okay. So God could be prompting you. The Holy Spirit could be checking you on something right now. It could be that stabbing feeling that you have in your arm, that stabbing feeling that you have in your head, that stabbing feeling that you have in your stomach. Every time you try to be short with your wife, every time you try to snap at your spouse or snap at one of your kids or snap at one of your employees, whenever you're quick to anger, you are going to ultimately end up regretting it. And you feel it inside. You know, okay, I'm taking my problems out on someone else. So the reality is what we're trying to tell you with this segment is there won't be an easy path to building relationships. There won't be an easy path to growth. So don't seek the easy path. Seek to strengthen yourself. What can we do to strengthen those tent posts? Can we prepare our food? Can we go to meet with someone to find out what that food should be? Can we get into an exercise regimen? Because discipline with exercise and food trickles down to discipline in so many other areas of your life. It also produces confidence, and confidence is capital. That means that I believe that through Christ, I can do anything. So when I'm strong in my body and I'm strong in my mind, I can accomplish almost anything. Now, I want to make sure that we understand that I'm not looking for you to have a defeated life and for you to wake up every day and expect the worst to happen. What I'm asking you to do is to wake up every day and be prepared for battle. And just be prepared for whatever could come around the corner. The fact that you're expecting everything to be rosy all the time and that you're feeling disappointed or like a failure because it's not rosy all the time, it's setting you up to be weak. And it's setting you up to never really truly actually achieving what God's called you to achieve. So I want you to warrior up. If you have to get in the Bible, I would highly recommend reading about the full armor of God. I would just read through that entire segment or just Google it. If you don't have a Bible, if you're not big on reading the Bible, then just Google full armor of God and it will pull that entire scripture. and set yourself up to have that armor on every day. Deflect the negativity and start building yourself in the Lord, and encourage yourself that whatever comes at you, whatever financial issue, whatever relationship issue, whatever work issue, whatever health issue, God is bigger and he can provide in abundance for you. And we just pray and believe God for you to be the mighty warrior that he's called you to be. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or to schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free, healthy baked goods from my personal bakery delivered to you, take a look at sophiesbakery.com, a perfect option for gifts this holiday season. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com, where you can also find chicken, eggs, and turkey as well.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Just got done talking to you about what it means to be a warrior. And Debbie hit on something a little bit about social media, and I kind of want to continue with that. And it's this idea that there is an easy road. And I just don't think that exists. And like she said, we're not trying to create negativity here. What I want you to understand when I say that there's no easy road is that you actually are stronger than you give yourself credit for. And so you are strong enough to tackle the road that's ahead of you. And I believe that if you can convince yourself that you're even stronger than you think you are, you can actually tackle the road that seems too hard. And that's where victory comes from. The problem is that with social media and the internet and just kind of generationally where we are, there's so much marketing and selling of easy, and it's predatory. You know, these people have realized that everybody wants it easy because our world is fallen. And let's be honest, like for a few years now, it's been a little bit of a crapshoot. And so like business is hard, exercise is hard, life is hard, relationships are hard. You know, everything is hard. Now, what's fascinating is I would argue the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. I would argue it's not actually any harder now than it was 1,000 years ago. The game has changed. The difficulty is a different difficulty, but we're just aware of it because we have international news, because we have social media, because we have all of this access to everything that's going on. So we're learning about difficulties in other areas of the world that we weren't privy to before. So it just makes everything feel like it's difficult everywhere. The problem with that is then you have this predatory idea that I'm going to peddle you easy. And we deal with this a lot in our line of work. It's fascinating. People will come in and they'll have heart issues, or they'll have blood pressure issues or blood sugar issues, health issues, and they'll sit down with Debbie, ready to change their life, understanding they need a lifestyle change, not a diet. And they'll tell her, I just have to have my glass of red wine every night, though. Like, I'll eat what you tell me to eat, but I have to have my glass of red wine every night, and I have to have dark chocolate on Fridays and Saturdays. And it's like, what? Like, what would make you think you can do that? You are where you are right now because of what you're doing. You're telling me you have somewhere else you want to go. It's not going to be easy. But then you get some bro online, and for $49.99 a month, he's going to tell you how to eat, but not specific to you. It's going to be a blanket for everybody, and it allows you to have wine and chocolate. Well, guess what? 1 out of every 1,000, I'm making that number up, so you can try to Google that if you want to, but I don't know the actual number, but I'm just telling you, it's rare. People that does a blanket program like that is actually going to feel well, have energy, and potentially lose weight or whatever the goal is. it's peddled like that. You know, the point of you saying someone's standing in front of a Lamborghini, you know, look at it used to be that you had like 3 pyramid marketing things, right? And they were called marketing schemes for a reason. They didn't work. It was pyramiding, right? Now, like, I can't count them. You know, it's like, become an ambassador for this. And, you know, you can make billions like me, and you can do this. And all of a sudden you've got people that are like, I'm going to give up my job to go become an influencer. And I put that in quotes for those of you that are listening, because it's like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, what have you done to be an influencer? If you're a preacher and you get on a radio show, you're a preacher who influences. If you own a fitness center and you're a nutrition coach and you're a personal trainer, you get on a radio show or a TV or online because you have something you do and you're going to influence people with it. Like, if you just decide one day that you're an influencer, what influence are you attempting to have, and what is the reason for it? And so what I found is there's this idea that you can make something easy. Someone's health can be easy. You know, oh, you're having trouble dating? Try our app. Like, oh, now I have access to all these girls. I just press a button. You know, it's like, are you tired?
Hope you don't.
Are you? Yeah. Well, I mean, I only have OnlyFans. You can check that out at, and I'm just kidding. You know, but it's like, everything is peddled as being so easy, and it's just not. And what happens is, by the time you realize it's not easy, they've already taken your $1,000, and then you just move on to the next one. And so it's this perpetual revolution of money loss and time loss for the people who are just trying to better their life, and they're getting caught by all of this garbage. And then it just furthers it even further, because now that person's showing you their Lamborghini. So now I want to peddle the garbage like they do.
Right. And I think that what I think we're seeing is that there's influence without integrity.
Correct.
And so, you know, even when it just comes down to like products that you'll see someone sort of peddling a product, you know, pushing a product, and it's like, do you truly use that product, or did you decide to use that product because they came to you and gave you that product for free?
Yes.
And asked you to push the product. You know, for us, like for our bakery, we have certain people that have influenced for us before. Now, the reason they've influenced for us is because they bought our baked goods for a long time, and they love our baked goods. You know what we said? We love you. We love your family. You're incredible clients of ours. Can we send you some free baked goods this month for your time in sharing your experience with Sophie's Bakery? So you've proven that you love our product, right? You've been buying it for 2 years. We have no problem giving you this product because we would love to hear of your experience in using the product. Now they're a quality influence on that product.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to give a complete stranger our product and say, here's a bunch of free product if you get online and you start talking about it. We don't even know if you like the product. You don't even know if you know anything about the product.
My favorite with the supplement lines like that and the different things you're seeing pop off is, I've been doing this for a long time now. I've been in, you know, fitness. I've been in exercise. I was an athlete, and I can look at someone and for the most part tell you if they're taking or eating or drinking something. Like if someone's saying, yeah, you know, follow me, I eat fast food all the time, and they're shredded, and you're like, you know, so like I'm looking at some of these people selling these products or even selling an exercise equipment. And I'm like, that's not what you did to look like that. You might do that right now to help with maintenance, but that's not how you're selling it.
Right.
You're selling it that if you use this, you get to look like this. And even if you don't say it, that is what you're selling.
Right.
You know, and so there's just this facade like this of like people that are just preying on people's desire to move through life easier or faster than they're capable of doing.
Which I think the key summary to that and the point in bringing it all up is comparison. What are you comparing yourself to? These people are influencing you with their actions. You are making choices, and those choices are making changes for your life because of some false lack of integrity influence that's in your life. So just be very cautious of who you choose to follow and why you choose to follow them. For more information on what we do at Integrity, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208 to schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Want to shift a little bit from what we've been talking about. Something that I say quite a bit on the floor at the gym when I'm talking to people, and it has come from Debbie, who created it, is train to live. And it's actually our motto. If you look at our company and why we personal train, it is train to live. And I want to talk a little bit about what that means to me. But first, Debbie, I want you to talk about what that means to you, because you created it. So when you tell someone train to live, like what do you mean with that?
Well, when I first created Train to Live, it was in this group exercise room. It was my second gym that I took on. I managed Powerhouse Gym, and I decided to take on a gym out in Winghaven and decided to manage the staff at that gym as well. So now I'm managing 2 staffs. So I ultimately ended up managing 6 staffs, at 6 different gyms. But this was my second one that I took on. So I had this team, and I was sitting there with them in the room, and I just said, our motto is to train people to live, to truly live their life, and to be capable of truly living their life to the fullest. Well, what does that look like? So it's going to be different for every person, right? And so we have to be willing to get connected with that person and figure out what that looks like for them. We might have an impression of what living your best life is, but to them, what I've discovered is it's little steps sometimes. I mean, someone being able to get in and out of a chair better, someone being able to get in and out of their car better, someone being able to have energy that lasts them all throughout the day, someone being able to have a more balanced brain, someone feeling like they're in control of food and that food is not in control of them. Someone who can look in the mirror and see progress and feel good about themselves, but someone who can have longevity, someone who can say, I am going to live a long life, but I'm going to feel great while living it. We don't just focus on the outer man. We also focus on the inner man at Integrity. And when I was first in fitness, it's basically 25 years this year. I think in May it's 25 years for me. When I was first starting in fitness, it wasn't about that. It was about the outer man. It was contests, it was measurements, it was putting people on scales, the big giant scale where you push the thing across and you're got them in the middle of the gym. It was taken before and after pictures, and it was all about the outer man. But I just got to this place where this gym I was working for was promoting all of these powders, all of these bars, all of these cookies, all of these products. And every time I would eat one of them or drink one of them, I felt really bad. I would get headaches. I would feel bloated. I would almost have like breakouts on my skin. And then I started studying why. Like, why is this stuff making me feel this way? I got really, really sick and overcame great sickness. And I just discovered, I don't want to train people for this. I could put someone on the cover of a magazine, but if they're not living their best life and they have no idea how to maintain that lifestyle, then what am I actually doing for them?
Right.
Outside of my office, there are 2 really large poster style pictures. One has 22 females in it, and the other one has, I think, 18. Okay, at one bodybuilding show, I had all 22 of those girls competing. And that is a lot of people to try to wrangle down in one bodybuilding show. And then another bodybuilding show, I had all 18 of those competitors. I feel like a failure as a coach if those people come off that stage and spend the next 6 months not even looking like they even competed or like they even stepped into the gym. And it happens so often. So I just turned my methods around. I changed my thinking. And I just said, when it comes to integrity training systems, what we're going to do is going to be different. We are going to train people to live their best life. If that includes a marathon, if that includes a Tough Mudder, if that includes a bodybuilding show, fine. We will definitely help you prepare for that. And we will get you there to the best of your ability. But when you get out of that and you're done with that, you have to go back to a healthy lifestyle, a healthy set of habits and standards and a code of ethics that you stay consistent with. Otherwise, you are not going to have the longevity. You're not going to have the happiness. You're not going to have the health. You're not going to have the peace. And it's going to trickle down to disrupt your job, to disrupt your family, to disrupt your relationships, and even potentially finances. So when we say train to live, like, we mean it.
Right. I mean, I think that people get confused on what the show or the marathon or the competition or whatever it may be is meant to be. And that's a stage to demonstrate the level of health that you have. So if you chase your health first, you will be healthy enough to then hone in to do any of those events that you want to do.
Yes.
But if you chase the event and then you quit, well, first off, the next time you go to do that event again, even if you do, you're not going to be any better at it, right? Because all of the ground that you made to get there, that you let go of, and all that work you have to put back in to get back there, it's just going to balance itself out. You'll be no better.
Right.
So if you want to continue to hone a craft like running marathons and things like that, then you're going to do that by perpetually staying well and continuing that on. But let's say that you're not looking to do a show, you're not looking to do a run. What Train to Live means to me, in my words of what you already have just described, is like just that. It's training to live. I had a guy that came to me at one point, and I always ask my clients when I take on a new client, I say, what is it that brought you in? Like, what goal do you have? But not just like a goal. Like, what is it that made you finally decide, like, this is enough. I'm going to do this. I'm changing something.
So what inspired you to take that step?
Exactly. I always ask that, and I had a guy, and his why that he decided to come in is he knew he had been unhealthy. He knew he was overweight. He knew he needed to change something, but he likes to fish. He likes to go fishing. And he wanted to take his granddaughter fishing, and he went to this pond where he had frequently fished like years ago. And they got out to go fish, and as he began to get towards the pond to walk around the pond, or the a large pond, the small lake, whatever it was, he realized he wasn't going to be able to make it. Like, his legs were tired, he was out of breath. There's no benches. It's not like it's a park. He realized, like, if he were to stay out there and fish for more than a couple minutes, that he wasn't going to make it back to his car. And so he's got this little girl that he wants to do this with. He knows he can't sit on the ground. He's not capable of getting up or down off the ground. There's nowhere for him to go. And if he goes down, there's nobody that can even help him. And he's out there with this young girl. And so he was like, I want to be able to do that with my grandchild. Like, that's a pretty strong why. Now I always tell people, like, the best thing you can do is not let it get to that point. Like, try to figure out how to get yourself well before it gets there. But I'll give you another example. I've got a guy that I train. He's hilarious. He's trained with me now I was trying to figure this out. I guess it's probably been close to 8 years. And he comes in twice a week in the morning, 6 a.m., and he's in his 70s, Vietnam War vet. He's got both knees replaced twice, both hips replaced. Both shoulders have been surgically rehabbed, one of which the bicep tendon is attached to his bone. And, I mean, his body was a hot mess, but he's got a great outlook on life. We've come so far. I mean, it's amazing. He owns a farm as well that is like kind of a fun farm, but He does have to have hay and stuff because he has animals. And he talks about how hard it was. Like when he came in, he could barely raise his arms over like shoulder height. And I actually took him on from another trainer, and he was already working to try to get better at doing that. And now he throws his own hay bales. Like he literally stacks them in the barn. He was in his 70s. And 10 years ago, he could barely bring his arms over his shoulders. Now, the point is, like when I work with him, it's actually kind of fun because I have to make stuff up because, I mean, he's his own animal. I mean, he's got all these things done. And at one point he was like, John, he's like, I swear you make this insert expletive here up. I was like, you're right, I do make it up, and that's what makes me good at what I do. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, I didn't mean to compliment you. I'm like, yeah, but you did. But all aside, him and I will jokingly, I'll name moves. And he'll be like, what am I doing right now? I'm like, this is called the get up off the ground. And he's like, what is the actual name? I'm like, I don't know. It's like a hybrid between a air squat, but we're also doing a hip thrust to try to get you to where you're actually able to use the mobility we have built, which is different than most other human beings, to get yourself out of a position if you fall down.
Right.
And then, I'll have him do like a push-up variation, and I'll be like, but this push-up variation is called the push-up off the floor. And so like we have fun with it, but what I'm trying to get to here is when you train, what is the intention? And I'm talking about anything in the gym, with how you eat, how you practice at home, anything you're doing, like, are you doing it with intention? Are you aware of why you need to do it? And a lot of people aren't. They get caught on this hamster wheel, and they get caught on just kind of thinking, I'm just quote unquote living life and I just don't feel well. And that's it. Like, that's how it's going to be. And I've tried this and I've tried that, but it goes right back to what we've already talked about. It's this ease peddling. Well, you've bought all the easy programs and they haven't worked. Aren't you willing to maybe try just a different hard than the hard you're currently experiencing and see if it turns out any better for you?
Right.
And that's my favorite quote that I like to give people when they talk about something being too hard is I'm like, how do you feel right now? Because it sounds like you're miserable, right? That's pretty hard. It's hard to be miserable. You don't feel good. You don't sleep well. Your stomach hurts. Your brain's foggy. You have migraines. Your joints hurt everywhere. Yeah, what I'm proposing to you is hard, but at the end of my hard is a potential benefit. I'm not even going to say a benefit. Now, I know there's a benefit, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that I could be wrong. There's a potential benefit at the end of my hard. But what happens at the end of yours? You've already guaranteed that sitting in the situation you're in right now is going to stay that difficult. So there is no hope. But at the end of my hard is a mustard seed of hope. Like, wouldn't you want to chase that?
Yeah.
Knowing that you can just choose your heart and potentially choose to be better?
Yeah, that would be the prayer. That's our hope. That's who we are. That's why we have this slogan of train to live. We've always positioned that on our T-shirts, on our marketing materials, and we have it on the doors at our gym. We believe in it, and it's what our trainers are trained to do. It's to seek out, for you personally, what your needs are and how we can get you to a better life. And then how can you go out and minister that to other people just through your life, just being a shining example of health to other people that are in need of that exact same change. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208 for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. They also have chicken, eggs, and turkey as well.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking about our slogan, what it means to train to live, what Debbie created that for, and how I've interpreted it in doing what I do. And we kind of got a little bit on the topic of what you're training for, like, not just training to live, but why you're training. And a lot of times what I find is people will make good short-term goals, and sometimes they can even seem like a long-term goal. And so you can say short-term, you can say midterm, you can say long-term. But I've started asking people, what is your end game goal? Like, what is the actual end game? Because, doing a show, like a bodybuilding show or doing a marathon, those could be short terms. They could also be midterms because you might have to train for 6 months to get there. They could even be something that you would consider long term, like you're getting ready to do an ultra Ironman and you're like, I'm going to train for 2 years for this. I could call that a long term goal. But what's the end game goal? And the end game goal means, like, when you hit the end of your life, there's no guaranteed tomorrow. If that's tomorrow morning or 75 years from now, where do you want your health to be? And so when you force someone to think about that, like, do you want to be healthy in 75 years? Do you still want to be chasing the yo-yo of getting healthy and not in 75 years? If you really stop to think about that, like, my why of my end game goal is I want to be well. I start thinking about things. Like, I have a 12-year-old daughter. I mentioned the guy that wanted to be able to go fishing with his granddaughter. Like, if my daughter has kids in my lifetime, like, I want to be able to run around with them. Like, I'm pretty young, like, I'll be young when my kid has kids. It's like, I want to be able to run around with them. I want to be able to dance with my daughter at her wedding. I want to be able to, do the things that grandpa or pawpaw or whatever I'm called is asked to do. Like, that's an end game goal. I can't let myself go off the rails for 6 months right now with my health or my fitness or my eating or my exercise, because I'm potentially taking that 6 months from the end of my life. So it's like, what am I sacrificing to do that? So I find that if, like, you feel like you yo-yo, you might just be chasing too many goals and not enough long-term whys. Like, if you're only getting in shape for your wedding, and you know that you're going to mess up the wedding cake that night, you're like, man, I'll tell you what, I have cut this weight. I look good in this dress. I'm going to eat this cake. Great. But have you thought about the next day when you wake up? Because sometimes messing up an entire wedding cake turns into 3 years of gaining 100 pounds. Yeah. And I'm just being real with you, because next thing you know, you're pregnant, and then you're gaining weight while you're having a baby. And now you're coming to see us because you've gained 100 pounds. And you're like, I don't know what happened before my wedding. Well, you didn't think it. You didn't think it through. You didn't think about it. You want to do a bodybuilding competition. You're going to the beach. You're going on vacation. You're going to a family function. You're going to your 20-year reunion. These are things that people actually come in and pay a lot of money to get healthy for. But what happens afterwards? Like, you're going to put your time, your effort, and your money into this moment and then just let it go? And then have to fight for it again later, or potentially not have the opportunity to even fight for it later because you end up sick or unwell or even dying because of it. It's like, you really got to put your health first and then define the small goals as stepping stones to keep you maybe from going stale on being healthy.
I think that people sometimes will create short-term goals, or like sometimes they'll have different situations where they'll say, I'm going to do, my goal is to do this, or my goal is to do that. And you can see clearly that behind that goal is them wanting a shortcut to what a disciplined life creates.
Right.
And so they set themselves up for, I don't even know, a race, a contest, a detox, a fast,
right?
All of these different situations. And a lot of people do those things with good intentions and have a disciplined lifestyle also. But a lot of times you see people set that up, and you can see that it's sort of their way of trying to avoid actually creating a disciplined lifestyle.
Right. It's like, I'm willing to go all in on this. I'll fast for the next 7 days. And you're talking about someone who eats garbage. Like, they're going to go from eating garbage to fasting for 7 days and then exercising 40 hours a week. It's like, now, wait a minute. Like, you're willing to do this for how long? Well, you can't sustain it. So what they're showing you is they already have accepted that there's an end to this.
Yes.
Like, I will do this craziness for this little shortcut to get to where I need to go and then just lose it all.
But there really isn't a shortcut.
No.
So at the end of your goal,
Right.
whatever that goal is, as you're working to achieve that goal, what are you doing to identify what is the standard? What is the habit? What am I doing to set up a disciplined lifestyle? Because if I'm not focused on any of that and I'm not building some type of plan for that, then I'm basically just setting myself up to accomplish this goal and then right around the corner to be extremely disappointed in myself. Because as I lose all this weight or I get myself in this great shape or I detox my body, but then I don't have standards, habits, or some type of consistent pattern created for me to stay healthy and for me to stay disciplined, I'm not going to remain it just because I have achieved a short-term goal. I love helping people achieve short-term goals, and I by all means suggest that people have a protocol for short-term goals. But I honestly focus with people on long-term goals, and I see that as a far greater choice, decision, or way to spend your time than just hopping from short-term. That's almost like a dopamine hit. It's almost like flipping the screen, through videos. It's like, okay, I'm hopping from goal to goal. You are, but those goals are not teaching you anything. They're not setting a pattern into your life that has created a disciplined lifestyle for you.
Yeah, the dopamine thing is really good because our whole society is built on that now. I mean, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube's even doing it, YouTube Shorts. Like, the whole concept is that you flip through little bitty short bursts of things that you enjoy or like. And listen, I'm guilty of it too. Like, we all look at these things, but I challenge you to limit yourself on that, because what happens is you get to where there's this expectation that some form of dopamine release or enjoyment should happen that quick with that little of work. And I really caution you, if you're a parent, to let your kids have this, because part of the reason, in my opinion, if I'm going to get on a little bit of a soapbox here, that our kids and these younger generations are struggling to want to work is because they've been living in these reels for so long. They only know how to enjoy something that's really short, that doesn't take a lot of work. And they're watching these guys who have Lamborghinis that are talking about the quick fix to money. And so everybody wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to be a quick, overnight star. It's like that actually happens in health too. People see these quick results because they go on a medication, or they just decide they're going to starve themselves and call it a fast. They call it a fast, and it's like, no, like, you're doing these things wrong because your intention is very specifically for a very small window, and you're not actually thinking beyond that.
Right.
You start putting your health first, and the rest follows. I know plenty of people that look like Greek gods that are not healthy. I do not know many people that are extremely healthy whose bodies don't follow that.
Mm-hmm.
You can be both. You can look amazing. These people are selling you how great they look, and you assume how they feel matches it. But they might feel worse than you. You're only seeing what they sell you.
But I do not know many people that are extremely healthy, as you just referenced, that do not have a very consistent pattern of discipline that
Correct.
they follow on a regular basis.
Correct.
The high level health, the high level fitness, the high level shape that you see on a person, that's truly the committed. That's the people that put the time in, even if they have kids, even if they own a company, whatever the circumstances, they find the time, they find a way, they do the work instead of making excuses on a regular basis. They just put the time in. And honestly, they're not the people that are hopping from short-term goal to short-term goal. They have a long-term goal, and they know that exercise and eating clean is just simply part of everyday life, and they've created a life and a lifestyle that makes it mandatory. It's not optional. It is mandatory that they eat clean and that they get their workout in. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free, healthy baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed meat, the only beef that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.